Good evening, everybody. This is your captain speaking. Welcome aboard First Time Flyers. I'm your pilot Viv, and I'm here with my co-pilot Joe. Today we'll be departing for Catfish. Fasten your seatbelts, secure your baggage, and prepare for takeoff.
Good launch.
Good launch.
Good launch.
Me when I'm hard launching.
I've always disagreed with the notion that Dan and Phil hard launched.
Yeah, no,
I think they did the softest launch possible.
I still don't know what they are.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're a couple.
Yeah, but like, what does that mean?
They're in a relationship, but I get what you mean. I don't know. Maybe it's just
who's on top, who goes into who is what I want to know.
Dan makes jokes about Phil being a power bottom, but I don't know how accurate that is. But my main thing is okay, yeah, they did one big announcement of being like, we are actually in a relationship.
Yeah.
But by that point, they were building a forever home together.
Yeah.
And obviously, it had come out separately. And
what would you consider a hard launch then?
Nope. If Dan was like, by the way, I've had a secret boyfriend the whole time, and it's someone no one knew.
Okay.
That's in my head a hard launch.
Okay, so what you're saying is, for the past nearly 20 years, they've been soft launching.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a way.
All right. That's interesting.
Did Dan catfish Phil? Did Phil catfish Dan? They met online.
That's true.
Yeah. All our American listeners are going to be like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Are you keeping that part in?
I don't know. I wasn't going to, but maybe I will now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Online relationships are way more common now. They're like the only way to have relationships, it feels like.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. I mean, I don't really do online dating. I don't really do dating at all, but I have tried. I mean, the only relationship I have had was an online relationship, technically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the reason it was through Tinder, but the reason we matched was because they recognized a picture with you in it, and it turns out they were in your college class.
That was true.
Yeah, so it was online, but also it was kind of like, but we
sort
formed
of that awkward in between.
But we formed a connection over the phone.
That's true.
We didn't meet
I've
for a couple
definitely been dabbling in more online relationship stuff.
Yeah, you've been experimenting with that.
Yeah, so it was interesting watching this, especially when I was like speaking to a bunch of people, and then the idea hit me. I just like, oh yeah, everyone's just lying, aren't they?
Yeah. I felt the same of, obviously the dating world is very different for guys and girls, but
guys and dolls.
Just a bunch of crazy
guys and dolls.
No, more in the sense of, though I have been on a date this year, and beforehand I was just like, this person might kill me.
That's the sexiest kind of date.
Yeah. And to be fair, it's like I'd seen a picture of this person, we'd been talking, so it's, it was unlikely, but then people have full month-long relationships with people. We know someone, one of our very close personal friends, we've mentioned a bunch on this podcast, who has formed quite strong long-distance relationships.
I had a long-distance relationship for a while.
Yeah.
For over a year, I feel, or close to a year.
Yeah.
And that was quite difficult. So kudos to anyone who can keep that up, because it is a difficult thing to communicate. There's like so much through a relationship that is so physical. I'm not just talking about obviously like touch or whatever, but there's something about being in the same room as a person that really contributes.
Oh, absolutely.
To a dynamic, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, the person I was in a relationship with, we texted constantly. And I don't think I'm that person anymore, because I think as I have gotten older, maybe since COVID, where like you were forced.
You'd think the opposite would happen. I know it's much more common now for a big friend group to just communicate via Discord or Messenger, which we do.
We do. We have like a bunch of subgroup chats and stuff.
But it's kind of interesting that the opposite has happened. Maybe you just got sick of it during COVID, and that you just sort of crave the real thing.
Yeah, I personally, I'm not the kind of person to go out and date at the minute. Like I said, I've dated this year once or twice, and I've realized I'm not in a position in my life where I'm ready for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But even just outside of that, one aspect I really realized is I don't like talking to people I don't know over the phone, like over text. The one of the dates I went on was genuinely just someone messaging me of like, hey, you've got a new profile that you're looking to go meet people in person. Do you want to do that? And it was literally very last minute. Like we met the same day.
I think I'm getting better at it. I've been like messaging people online. Yeah. It's difficult to read cues. But this is interesting looking back on something like Catfish.
Yeah.
Now, not 20 years, 2008.
Yeah,
was the movie.
Yeah,
so nearly 20 years, so like 18 years.
Yeah.
Of when it was still kind of a gimmick.
Yeah.
And how people obviously manipulated certain aspects.
Yeah.
But just how things were taken at face value. It's quite interesting.
I feel the same. When we get into the movie, I have very specific opinions about certain aspects, but also in relation to just how trust has changed over the years.
Yeah.
And how we view the internet as a space with a lot more apprehension now.
Mm.
And, you know, I don't want to seem like we're completely anti the idea of online dating. Obviously not. One of our good friends got married to someone he met over a dating app.
Yeah.
And she's absolutely lovely. They're a lovely couple. If anything, it just seems like the norm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel as though if you went back in time to 2008 and said to people, you know, people used to consider it
watch
strange.
The housing market, it's going to crash any day now.
Warn them.
Yeah.
But it's true of back then it was a bit more taboo or unheard of. Like if you said to someone
taboo, more
if you'd said to someone, I met them online.
Rare. Yeah. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
I still think there is somewhat of
I guess by 2008 it was much more common because it was happening since the 90s.
That's true. That's true.
Chat rooms are now like quite common, but they're not. But now we've reached like peak.
Yeah.
Everything is filtered through telephone.
Yeah, it's very interesting because we've got a friend who met their current partner and their recent partners over Reddit.
Yeah.
And I had to questioning my own biases with these of when you hear that, you're thinking like, really?
Yeah.
But then what's the difference really between a social media like Reddit, Facebook, Tumblr,
boards.
Yeah, versus Tinder or
it's literally just
Grindr or
framing.
anything like that, yeah.
A place that's designated for dating versus just a general forum.
Yeah.
But did you have any relationship to Catfish before?
I'd seen clips and very iconic clips, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like I know there's one where someone thought they were dating Katy Perry.
Yeah, that's the highly memeable.
That's the big one, but I'd only ever seen clips. I obviously was familiar with the show. I didn't realize it was based on a documentary film.
I knew about the documentary.
Yeah, but I'd never seen a full episode. It was just kind of a cultural osmosis thing. But what was your relationship with Catfish, if any?
The term, and that was about it. I've seen that one meme clip, and I knew about the documentary. That was about it, really.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the term catfishing was quite popular when we were younger as well.
Yeah.
Of just whenever you're speaking to someone, obviously we grew up in that very specific period where everyone was just like, don't talk to anyone on the internet. They'll be lying. They'll be catfishing you.
Exactly.
And now everyone just does it anyway.
We had police in school who would often come in. It's just kind of a British thing where a police officer will come in and give you sort of life lessons. And I very distinctly remember a lot of the online safety ones.
Yeah.
You don't know who's commenting. You don't know who's posting. It's funny because that still kind of happens now. If anything, it's kind of flipped where some people are saying people are putting too much online of their true self.
Yeah.
We kind of need to go back a bit to using fake names.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Instead, people are like, this is my full legal name. I live here. This is where I work.
It is quite interesting where I've seen people be kind of suspicious of people who don't have full visibility online. It's just like, I've been speaking to this person, but they don't have like an Instagram or something.
Yeah, it's a bit dodgy.
I feel kind of bad sometimes for not posting enough because that's how people verify you, like a lot of the time.
I understand what you mean.
That's why they check to see if you're not dodgy.
That's true. I guess my difference is all my social media has to be private anyway.
Yeah.
So I didn't really think about that, but like my social media is there. Someone could see that I have it.
Yeah.
So I guess that does make a difference as well. But no, that's an interesting point. You know, it has definitely changed. And, you know, online safety is still a very pressing topic. Recently, the 16-year-old social media ban was brought in the UK, which we won't get into now because it's a whole other can of worms. But it's still related to the same idea of fear-mongering, if you don't know who's on the other side of the screen.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming to the end of MTV.
Yeah. That's the thing. Well, that's why we wanted to do Catfish. I think it's gives interesting topics, but also it's a very iconic MTV show.
Yeah.
A lot of the other shows we covered, if not all of them, were 90s, whereas we're jumping forward now to the 2000s.
Yeah.
This is definitely the iconic Catfish show of the 2000s to 2010s.
Yeah.
The iconic Catfish show, the iconic MTV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like we said, so catfish are a diverse group of very finned fish of the order Siluriformes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool Pokemon lore.
Which I think is where Silurians come from in Doctor Who, is the same idea.
Yeah.
Because they used to be fish people before they were land people, I think.
Oh, yeah. I remember them.
Yeah. I might be wrong about that. Garrett will tell me.
Yes, he will.
Yeah. So yeah, well, like we said, this started as a documentary. The documentary was directed by Henry Joost and Ariel Schulman. The pair of them are surprisingly not prolific. Do you know what else they directed as a pair?
As a pair? Yes, I looked at their letterbox. What did I see? Give me a hint.
Horror.
A horror. Is it internet horror based?
Found footage.
Found footage. Fuck. Oh my god, this is pissing me off. What is it?
Paranormal Activity 3 and 4.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
They did.
I like Paranormal
that
Activity
makes
3.
Sense, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's true. Paranormal Activity 4 has, like, dating stuff online, kind of.
There you go.
Yeah. And the film Nerve, which I hate.
Oh, yeah, they did direct Nerve.
I hate Nerve.
Why do you hate Nerve?
I just think it's a bad movie.
Oh, boo. That's bad criticism. It's bad because it's bad.
I think it's like it's that 2010s, even though it was like late 2010s, fucking future shit where it's like, what if on social media you got like everyone paid to each other to do dares, but it got more and more risky.
Oh, it's like Spree.
Yeah, it is like Spree. It is like Spree.
Yeah.
It's like, it's funny what we're talking
these
about.
These directors have like one idea.
It's literally just, isn't social media bad?
Yeah, I mean, they're correct.
I mean, it is, but it's, people aren't doing days and getting paid. People are doing that shit for free.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, clout is money.
That's true.
Yeah.
Says a lot, actually. Maybe Nerve is good. Maybe I need to rewatch it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. So, apparently they're also, there's an upcoming Weezer film that they're directing.
Is there?
I'll believe it when I see it.
Biography?
I guess. It was on their Wikipedia.
Okay.
So it's like, it's one of those films that's been announced.
If it's anything like the Pavement movie, which was great, but I don't think these directors are that good.
Okay.
As Alex Perry Ross, but
we'll
check out the Pavement movie if you haven't and you like Pavement.
I don't know anything about them, but that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I'll check them out.
It's got the guy from Stranger Things, the one with the square head, who's in Spree.
Oh, him. Joe Keery, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Pavement.
That's awesome.
No, he plays Steve Malcolmus.
Okay, I only
if you're not Pavement, you know who he is. He's the lead singer of Pavement. I'm sorry. I'm on the ball today.
Yeah. Pavement doesn't sound like a real word anymore.
They're a great band.
Yeah.
Very prolific. Big in the 90s.
That's cool. I don't know much about them.
Okay.
So I'll have to check them out.
Well, if you know much, you know more about Weezer, so that's why you're looking forward to the Weezer.
I do like
movie.
Weezer. Yeah. You got me into Weezer.
I did get you into Weezer. Don't put that on me.
It's your fault.
It's my fault.
No, I do like Weezer. But anyway, unfortunately, that's not out yet. The documentary film was produced by Relativity Media, Rogue Pictures, and Hit the Ground Running, and Supermarsh. It was distributed by Universal Pictures, released January 22nd, 2010 at Sundance.
I got thoughts on the movie, but I love the opening logo used of Google Earth.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
for Universal, that's so cool.
I'll talk about it when we talk about the movie, though, because like my favorite thing about the movie is the aesthetics used in it, incorporated into it.
That's fair. Yeah, we'll definitely talk more about that in a sec. But yeah, so it was released January 22nd, 2010 at Sundance, and then in the US, September 17th, 2010, at a budget of $30,000 and a box office of $3.5 million. But
apparently they didn't get any of it because of the music.
Yeah, which sucks, but big success overall. After Sundance, well, I'll give a very brief overview. If you haven't seen the Catfish movie, it's documentary style following Nev.
I mean, it's not documentary style; it is a documentary.
It's documentary. Yeah, it's a documentary following Neve Schulman, who had formed an online friendship with a young girl, forgotten her name, Abby, and Abby's family, and essentially he forms a connection with who he thinks is Abby's sister, and it turns out to be Abby's mother, who is controlling
Everything
a bunch
is
of
not
her.
what it seems.
Yeah. So just in case you hadn't seen it. But yeah, it was very successful at the time. And after Sundance, a Q&A was abruptly ended when an audience member asked if the documentary was real and suggested that it was a faux documentary, which Ariel did not take well. And since then, there has been a bit of contention about how much of this is real, in very much the same sense of a lot of documentaries, I imagine.
Yeah.
And
I think what a lot of people need to understand is I'm not saying all documentaries are like, but there's always manipulation.
Yeah.
They won't let on how much they know straight away. I do believe there's a lot of truth within it.
Yeah, I agree.
But what I think is the strongest component is the first hour, like the lead up, basically.
Yeah.
And I do think I do think they were playing up how little the main guy
Neve,
how little he knew. I think obviously he was playing for the camera. It was to build a narrative.
Yeah, which documentaries will always have to do, for better or worse.
Yeah.
And they even spoke. There was an interview that I watched with Neve, Ariel, and Henry Joost, who where they said, the documentary, it is real, but they obviously edited it to make themselves look a certain way.
Yeah.
But they were adamant it was real. And even in the question of, did they use Angela, the mother who was the catfish in this situation?
Yeah.
When asked, did they feel as though they used her in a way to make this documentary? They did say, well, we kind of used each other. It is a matter of they kind of wash their hands of it, but also it's that sort of.
we use each other. I've got a.
Yeah.
I'm in two minds about it. Do you want to talk about the actual documentary itself?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Because this is kind of the pilot, basically.
Yeah,
and I feel as though we're going to talk about this mostly.
Yeah, yes, to be honest. What was your thoughts on the documentary?
I'm in two minds. I actually. Whenever I watch a documentary, I always have two feelings of, this is presenting a narrative, this is a film, this is meant to entertain,
yeah,
but also it's given the presentation of, this is facts, this isn't a constructed reality. And obviously it is. You can't present something factual, you can't present all the angles. With this sort of one, it's very interesting, especially when the subject is someone like this. Who what was the mother's name? Angela. Yeah, where it's a lot of power dynamics at play. I feel, where I completely understand where it can feel like they're leeching on her sadness to create a sort of narrative out of it. And and on the other hand, you could say that, oh, she's come out of it on the other hand, because obviously she was lying.
Yeah.
But she's doing it because she's in a awful circumstance that she's incredibly unhappy.
Yeah, she's essentially role-playing online a life that she would want.
Yeah, because like when you think of like the filmmakers, what have they got to lose?
Yeah.
Like a relationship, this is literally everything she has. It's sad. She shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
But I feel as though there's something off about it. I can't articulate it perfectly, but this feels a little evil.
That's fair. I think one thing that surprised me with this documentary, just knowing about the catfish in general and only ever seeing sensationalized clips, is how much empathy is shown in the documentary.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
That's why I'm in two minds, because it isn't as exploitative as it could be. I feel like it isn't going full Chris Hansen.
No,
like,
exactly.
Get him!
We know what you're doing. We know what you are.
Yeah.
Like, I really like the part where Neve finally speaks to Angela, and Neve is framed in this sort of way, even though he's the subject of the documentary, of kind of not wanting to go further. It's almost like Ariel, who is his brother, is pushing him to say, like, come on, we got to find out the truth. We got to work out what this is.
I think that's a front.
I agree. I completely agree. But then I do like it then when the reveal isn't this big, hey, I know you've been lying to me. It was just them kind of talking and him saying, like, we should have a chat about what's going on.
Yeah.
And that opens the door.
I think I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
If the framing of it wasn't so much uncovering a mystery.
Yeah.
Rather than, because it's very clear, I feel, like, straight away. Like, and that's the downside of documentaries as presenting facts, is that it still needs to build a narrative. And that's why because I feel as though the first hour of it is, like, quite engaging. Yeah,
especially when, there's no way they didn't know. The idea that they started filming just to document an online friendship, no way. I fully do not believe that. I think they knew something was up from the start.
Yeah.
Even, if it is...
and I think Neve knew as well.
Yeah, I agree. But I do like that beginning bit of showing how easily online friendships and relationships can form, where it's not just... Neve's not just only talking to them in one circumstance. He's speaking to family members. He's speaking on the phone with them. He's receiving post from them and sending things to them. So it's not like nowadays you might think, oh, someone you're speaking to might be a bot. It's not that situation. Neve knows he is speaking to a real people. It's more just who are the real people. And I agree with you. It definitely feels like a mystery to be uncovered.
I feel so. Yeah, you could. The way it was handled was handled with more empathy. At the end of the day, they're still pointing a camera and constructing a movie around it and using the story. And even if they're okay, I feel as though there's something off about it. They can easily dip their toes and leave whenever they want. But this is just their life.
Yeah, I agree. Voice break. No, I do agree. And I think that it could have easily been framed worse, and maybe that's not the right way to look at this, of I'm giving them grace because a lesser, or at least a less empathetic filmmaker could make it and seem as though, look at this sad, weird person and what she's doing online. But also, regardless of how much empathy they frame it with, showing stuff like how Angela is, she's got multiple phones. This kind of takes up her evening. Even the fact of her husband being aware of it, it's not a big twist, which I'm glad about. But then also it is kind of that realization of, oh, this isn't a fun mystery to solve. This is just someone's life. And yes, she's in the wrong, but also kind of there was not really any harm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to justify it at all, obviously.
Yeah.
But like you said, it feels like a power dynamic. They show up at her house unannounced, and frankly,
with the film crew,
and I can understand. Funnily enough, we'll talk about this a bit more when we go into the first episode of the TV show.
Yeah,
where someone's going to be defensive in that case. They're lucky that Angela met with more grace, but also she was kind of forced onto the back foot, where she did then begin to tell more lies. So she was pretending to be her daughter who doesn't exist. But then when Neve shows up and she's like, oh, I'm her mother. She's down south. Oh, she's actually down south because she's in rehab. Oh, she's also like, I'm struggling with cancer. It's more lies on top of lies because she's just trying to get out of the situation because she has been put into a corner.
And all this could be framed as like, as good content, as good footage. This is a good story that we could use. So they're always on the offensive. It doesn't seem that way because they're presenting themselves in the right. And what's she doing? And I'm not trying to say what she did is correct. However, what they're doing is, I feel, worse. It's strange.
Yeah, it's hard to argue because in a real world situation, the correct thing to do would be just to say over message or over phone,
just cut contact.
Hey, like, either ghost them, or if you don't want to do that because you think they might be a vulnerable person, like, to be fair, Angela was a vulnerable person.
Yeah.
Is just say, like, hey, I know that this isn't real.
Yeah.
And kind of give them the ball in their court then, where rather than they have to explain themselves to you, like Angela had to tell them the truth because they were literally there.
And
say, I know it's not real. We either cut contact or you can tell me like who you really are.
And they got to a point where it felt condescending, like how they were noticing all the stuff. And again, it's for the documentary of like they notice like obviously the kid can't paint.
Yeah.
They can't say anything. And some people view this as like, oh, that's they don't want to just point out straight away, just like, oh, you didn't, your daughter didn't do the paintings.
Yeah.
You did them, clearly. They'd rather just like weave that out of them. It feels like a humiliation ritual.
Yeah, it's hard because I can see both sides of it, which would be, on the one hand, you don't want to come on the offensive and say, we know you didn't paint, we know your daughter didn't paint these, we knew you painted these, I know it was you on the phone.
Yeah.
But when you also trying to get someone to admit to something, it is awkward. And I can see it, like, think of it, for example, from my perspective, as if I know a child has done something in school and I'm kind of just need to get them to confess. Yeah. Essentially. Even that is uncomfortable, where you just kind of reach a point where it's like, look, we both know you did it, so just say. But you can't just be like that with an adult.
I can see people preemptively being like, oh, what she was doing is manipulative, so what they're doing is just sort of playing that back. And just to pry honesty out of it. But given her situation, her life, feels wrong.
Yeah. I think, and granted, maybe if...
Like, I don't know if this is their story to tell.
Exactly. And who knows the true story behind the scenes. Maybe they started out expecting a certain kind of person would be behind something like this. And maybe they thought they were in too deep, and that's why they pivoted for the empathy section. Or maybe they were expecting a bigger blowout, and when they realized this was just kind of this sad person, for lack of a better term, they were thinking, oh, well, we don't want it to be too depressing, we got to frame it in a certain light. Yeah. And maybe that's why they had the kind of faux happy ending of Neve and Angela still speak and consider each other friends, which who knows, maybe is true. But
I do admire a lot of the aesthetic choices within the documentary, but it's like I love the use of like the transitions, the Google, like all the way they use screens and how they frame the internet within it. I think it was quite ahead of its time. But it's in service to a narrative which I find a little repulsive.
Yeah. That's fair. It can be morally against something and still appreciate qualities of it. Yeah. But I do agree. I agree with the opening intro, especially the aesthetic of that. To the point where I hate the title card because it's just the Catfish text on like a digital screen. This is a nitpick, but I was kind of hoping they would do something cool with it, considering all the stuff they did with like the Universal logo. Yeah. But that's mainly because they didn't have a title until like the day of release.
Oh yeah, I did see the interview thing they did for it.
Yeah, they had a couple different titles. So It's Complicated, which is a play on the whole Facebook relationship terminology, which has always been funny. Can you imagine putting...
Is that still a thing?
I don't know. Neither of us use Facebook.
No.
I can never imagine. They all are, but Facebook in particular. I can never imagine putting a relationship as It's Complicated.
Just kill them. Just take a photo of you putting a bullet through the back of their head and post that. That'd be more dignified.
I feel like it'd be really funny. Not funny, but like if you were that kind of like toxic person of just, oh, so they did something minor that pissed me off. It's complicated. They also had Yanive's internet girlfriend, a bunch of Facebook puns. One I did quite like, some Michigan Impossible.
Oh yeah, they did mention
That's really funny. Terrible name for this, but really funny.
They should have gone Sufjan Stevens to do the soundtrack.
Yeah, Michigan has that by this point, wasn't it? That was like early 2000s.
Yeah, that was like early 2000s.
Yeah. The title that was going to be submitted to Sundance was It's All Downhill From Here, which is a fucking awful title.
Is that a reference to something?
I don't know. They didn't say. But they did obviously decide with Catfish based on the conversation. Frankly, weird as fucking analogy. Yeah. Once I read the context online, and then I was like, oh, it'll make more sense when the story is set in the documentary. Yeah. No. It still didn't make sense.
You need some wacky people to keep you on your toes. Is that what he means?
Yeah, so the idea is fish used to... back when fish was shipped, like live cod was shipped from Asia to North America, they were in barrels. But by the time they arrived in North America, the cod would all be dead from lack of activity, because if fish stop swimming, they die. Like most fish, at least. I don't know. I'm not a fish biologist.
A marine biologist?
No, fish specifically. So what they would do is put catfish, so a different type of fish, but catfish specifically, into the barrels, which would make the fish more active, I assume, just from the different activity going on. And that would keep the fish alive. So the idea is, and it's Angela's husband who says this, is you need people like that in your life who keeps things interesting. But I think that makes no fucking sense.
You just see a little freak every now and again. You just like, stir. Yeah. You need a shit stirrer.
Was it you or was it Val who said, it might have been Val, who said, I thought it was called catfish because you reeled them in. I was like, that makes so much more fucking sense.
I don't remember. I think I was a kid when I heard this.
Yeah.
I heard somewhere it's 100% bullshit, but I believed it when I was a kid. The catfish mimicked whatever fish they were surrounded by.
Oh, really?
So it would blend in. I do not believe that is true.
Interesting.
That is why it was called catfish, because they were pretending to be someone they weren't.
Let's have a look. Saltwater fish. 7 sly examples of mimicry in saltwater fish. Juvenile convict blenny and juvenile catfish. The coral catfish, Plotusus lineatus, stay huddled in shoals and look a tiny bit like black eels. But these eels can fight back if swallowed by a large predator. Okay, so I guess like some catfish, it can mimic one. Some have evolved.
This is a stretch. This
isn't what you were thinking. I don't think.
Well,
but no, it's because they keep your life interesting.
Sure. Why not? Cope.
I mean, the definition changed because of the show and the film and the show.
I think Catfish is a great title.
I think it is as well.
Yeah.
I think it's just, especially
it's intriguing because it's like contrasts so heavily with the content.
I was thinking that just in terms of how the documentary tells its story. If you were at Sundance watching this and you're thinking like, oh, Catfish, what's this going to be about? And then you're watching it thinking, why is it called Catfish? And getting to the end.
What?
Like, it kind of makes no fucking sense, but also it's a reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes things are named things and you're just like, why is it called this?
Yeah.
Like Carrie. Why is it called Carrie?
Why is it called Carrie? Guess I'll never know. Carrie fish.
Carrie fish.
Carrie fish.
I was just trying to think of something obvious. How do you feel about Neve as a character within this? Because obviously he goes on to be the presenter of the show.
He's a nothing burger.
Yeah. He's just a guy, which is fine.
He's a guy.
I saw, and granted, maybe this is affected by the show, some really jarring opinions, and I just wanted to bring it back up because I wanted to circle back to what we talked about earlier.
Oh, is he like really loved it or hated?
People like him and the other presenter, and they say the show fell off like once the presenters changed.
Okay.
But I'm just thinking of, I saw some reviews, because I scrolled through reviews on Letterboxd after watching this.
Yeah.
Because I thought at the time, I was like, oh, I quite liked it, even though I've got problems with it. So I was surprised to see more jarring reviews. And I saw people saying stuff like, why is Neve friends with an 8-year-old online? And I was like, part of me was like, I completely understand, but also the internet was a different time back then. And it wasn't as simple as he was friends with an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Like an 8-year-old liked his pictures because he was a photographer and like sent him paintings, and he only ever communicated through her parents.
Yeah.
Which in the end, he wasn't even communicating with an 8-year-old, but also that was always true.
Imagine you've got fucking To Catch a Predator.
And,
he meets Chris Hansen.
What a crossover.
Like, wait a minute, you're not 8.
Nobody take a seat. God, we should do fucking To Catch a Predator one day.
For primetime.
Primetime. Oh, yeah, primetime shows. That's true.
No, for the movie Primetime. Do you know about this?
Oh, yes. Sebastian Stan?
No, Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. That's good. Yeah, I didn't realize it was called Primetime.
I mean, if you think about it, this is basically To Catch a Predator light.
It is. It's just not sexual predators or like child molesters.
You'd hope.
You'd hope. Who knows? I don't know whether there's a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
The film was so successful that Neve received many emails of people telling him about similar situations where they had been lied to online, and this spawned the idea of the show. I don't know how true the email thing is, but I can imagine it being true.
People sent emails back then?
Yeah, people did. So the show was developed by Ariel, Neve, and Max Joseph, who was one of Neve's friends, who filmed for a lot of the show on a little digicam called the Max Cam. Yeah.
The Max Cam.
yeah. It was,
which had a shutter speed of 6.
I loved
so
it.
Jittery.
I know, I loved it when he just had it. It was so cute. It was presented by Neve Shulman and Max Joseph, and then later Cammie Crawford. As the show went on, it became usual for the Catfish to be the one to make connection with MTV. So when the show started, they would reach out to the people who were being catfished, but they would also reach out to the Catfish and obviously have to get permissions and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can't just be showing up.
Yeah, whoops. Yeah, but as the show became more popular, the Catfish was the one who reached out to the show to say, I've been catfishing someone. Yeah, which makes me wonder. I wonder if anyone catfished people just so they could get on TV.
Yes, they absolutely did.
Yeah.
It's the reality TV, paradox.
It is, yeah. Which would be wild. I'd love to see someone just admit that.
Yeah.
Kind of like, for some reason it reminds me of Survivor. How there's been so many seasons of Survivor now.
I've been training for Survivor all my life.
Yeah, it's like send help.
But they got to keep upping and upping the antics of Survivor. And before you know, it's just soul traps. Just like, I'm ready.
Some Survivor things are pretty horrible.
Was like an actual... If like Squid Game was like an actual... I know like Beast Games was a thing.
Yeah.
And like people can train for it. But people would like prepare.
Oh yeah. I guess the thing with Squid Games is they didn't know Squid Games existed.
Yeah.
But if it was a public thing, like the Hunger Games, people trained, they were the Korea district who trained for the Hunger Games.
That's true.
Yeah. And that led to people training to be on Catfish.
Training to be on Catfish?
Yeah. I've been catfishing hundreds of people for this moment. So how it worked was the Catfish would reach out to MTV. Producers would then proceed to gather information and contact the hopeful, which is the term they use for the person who is being catfished, because they're hopeful that it's real. For legal reasons, everyone involved had to sign contracts agreeing to appear on camera before the episode would ever enter production. Because obviously, if you have someone who refuses to be on camera, you haven't really got an episode then, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Neve explained that while the Catfish agree to appear on the show, they don't know when or how the hosts will find them.
You will be hunted.
Yeah, we will one
You're
day
just shopping
show up.
and then Neve what's his full name?
Neve Shulman.
Neve Shulman just shows up when you're in Asda.
Well, there's that one bit in the first show where for some reason he goes to speak to the main girl.
Oh, while she's shopping?
While she's shopping.
Oh, wait, so even the hopeful doesn't know?
I guess not. I guess the hopeful probably has more information about it, but the...
What if I look chopped? I would be like, edit this. And they'd be like, no, you signed a contract.
I know. I mean, the Catfish must have been so stressful. Like, I've got to look my best the whole time.
Yeah, and it's like 6 months.
What if they show up? Can you? I mean, I don't know how long they kept them on file. Maybe it was like a year or two later.
Yeah, that's true. They did have the like a year after bit, didn't they? At the very end.
So I don't know how long these episodes were in production, but Catfish as a show ran for 9 seasons for 242 episodes, from November 12th, 2012. To July 16th, 2024. So it ended fairly recently.
Yeah.
And it did take like a 2-year gap, 4 year from filming, 2 year from the release of the documentary movie to be made into a show. It has a couple spin-offs, including Trolls and Ghosted, and Love Gone Missing, and also like Catfish UK, and some different, like Catfish Mexico, Brazil, and Colombia, I think they're the other ones. And there is a podcast version of the show.
I did see.
Makes sense. This is like podcast format.
That's true.
If you have the hopeful on, you ring up the Catfish.
That's true, actually.
Yeah. But that ended in 2022.
Oh, eat shit.
Yeah. We're still going.
We're still going.
Yeah. On September 22nd, 2025, Neve and Max announced the show would end on Instagram. There was no direct reason given, but there are reasons surrounding the show that people think might be the reason that it ended. So one of them is just nice and simple. Well, a couple of them are nice and simple. Just the host's leaving. So like Max left in 2018. And also it was around the time of the Paramount and Skydance merger.
Oh, yeah.
So that might have impacted things. But, and then in 2019 though, so years before the show ended, there was a Guardian article that said that the show had become a victim of its own success because not only were people reaching out, basically becoming catfishes just to get on the show, people were just more aware of catfishing in general because of the show.
People aren't susceptible.
Exactly.
Everyone's cynical.
They raised enough awareness that there was just less.
They got no more suckers.
Out.
We should do Catfish Amish or something. People who've never had computers. They just get letters. Like,
oh, that'd be so romantic.
Yeah, but they're catfishing letters.
I know,
so they're not real.
Can you imagine, though?
That's still romantic.
Yeah. I guess that probably did happen.
Well, like lying about sending letters. I'm this person.
Yeah.
I'm a hunk. Just, you have an illustration of yourself as like really beefy.
Damn.
It's like, damn, look at them.
Damn, look at my future
and you
husband.
go meet them and they have syphilis or something.
I know. It's funny, we were talking about messaging earlier, and sometimes I do read messages and think, oh, is this person pissed off at me? How did they mean this? Or do I come across as rude? So it's funny to think.
Have you ever tried to send like a pissed off message? Have you ever been like bitter and sent a message and you wanted there to be a little bitterness within the message?
I'm sure I must have.
I think bitterness comes across more in what you don't say rather than what...
Like a K. Just
kind of.
Yeah.
You don't answer a message.
I've left people on red before when I've been annoyed. Absolutely. That's usually my go-to.
If anyone I know is listening to this, I'm not doing this on purpose. As far as you know, I'm going to drive these people insane.
I mean...
You're going to read this now whenever I don't reply to you. So, okay.
I mean, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mainly just... If I'm really annoyed, I'll like leave someone on red or not even open the message.
Yeah, that's the thing. Though.
I'm quite bad for pulling. I respond to messages anyway, so it doesn't matter. But if I'm not in mood to respond to something, I will pull down the notification bar so I can read the message, see if it's something important, and then just not open it.
Interesting.
So I'm not leaving someone on red, but I have read the message.
Yeah, but people know that.
But like, it doesn't say.
Yeah, but people know how phones work and how often everyone knows.
I know.
Everyone knows you can just look at a message and not. That doesn't mean you haven't seen it.
Yeah. I know. I remember when people send pictures. I'm like, I can't see it without opening it. Bullshit.
Why are you manipulating me?
That'd be a great way to like force someone to open a message. Send them a picture, but it's just text.
Texting. It's a fucking notes.
Yeah, notes screenshot.
That's how I'm gonna message everyone.
It's so funny.
As my apology.
Yeah.
My cancellation.
Notes app apology.
Yeah. When are we gonna do our first Notes app apology? We've got a lot to apologise for.
Maybe that should be a segment in the 1 year anniversary.
What we're sorry for?
Yeah.
Oh god, that's gonna take up a long time.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Speaking of sorry, no show is without its controversies.
Of course.
And I'm laughing, but actually this gets surprisingly serious.
Okay.
So, Neve has a history of violence against women.
Well then.
Yeah. In 2006, he was expelled from college after punching a woman in the face. Yeah. He was arrested, but the charges weren't pressed. According to the girl, this was because she felt financially intimidated. Because, of course, when people press charges, lawyers get involved. You need to be able to pay to substantiate those charges. But, you know, he was expelled, and there were other rumors about other behavior that was a lot more serious at college, but none as concrete. Like, that is a thing that happened, the punching. Whereas the other rumors, if you get my drift, there was no confirmed cases. So I'm not going to say what they were, as much as I want to shine a light on the stuff that's said. I don't want to put shit out there that's not real. Just in case. Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
2018, though, a past Catfish participant did accuse him of sexual harassment. The show, to be fair to them, was immediately suspended. But the claim was found to be unsubstantiated.
Okay.
So the show did continue.
Okay.
But I'm pretty impressed that they did pause the show for a while. The bare minimum.
In the bin.
In the bin. Just ended at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. especially considering it just kind of died a slow death after that. But yeah, so not a good look, just in general.
Essay, beating women. That ain't it, Chief.
That ain't it, Chief.
Chris, come in. We're going to apologize this in the next episode. We're sorry, everyone.
We're sorry. Let's talk about the episode. So the first episode of the show is called Sunny and Jameson. Aired November 12th, 2012. We have viewership numbers for this one.
Oh, that's
We
good.
haven't had viewership numbers in fucking ages.
Well, I'm guessing like every single person who was on the Reddit for Aeon Flux watched that episode, and that's about it. And us. So it's gone up, well,
yeah.
So 52 people for Aeon Flux.
Catfish was watched by 2.68 million viewers, which was kind of less than I thought. So I scrolled through, but that seems to be kind of high average for them. So I don't know. I guess it's been a while since we had viewership numbers. Obviously, they'll never compare to anything of earlier TV.
Yeah.
But because it was such a culturally significant show, I was kind of expecting a bit more. But yeah, but it didn't. So let's talk about the show. How do you feel about this episode?
It takes. It's the same format. It does have the. Obviously, you're coming in with more experience.
Yeah.
You're viewing it more from the outside. I feel because all the framing of within the movie is that you know as much as the filmmakers.
Yeah.
Going into this, you're completely aware it's all bullshit.
There's a flash forward right at the start of you don't see who the catfish is.
Yeah. But
you straight away know that it's not the truth.
Yeah.
So you're going in with certain expectations. I kind of hated this.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I liked about the documentary is the empathy, for better or worse. Whether it was manipulative, whether it was trying to suit a certain narrative. Whether it's warranted
or not, I had it.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this felt... I mean, it's.
I still think it was trying to go for empathy.
Do you?
I think it was trying.
Yeah.
But it didn't have the time or... And it was definitely being pushed upon these people rather than they're coming to their own conclusions between the person that was the hopeful and the catfish. They were trying to make them reconcile because they want a happy ending for the show.
Yeah.
They didn't have the time. Clearly, this is only 40 minutes, which is still quite long. I only thought it was good.
Yeah, fair.
I thought it was going to be shorter, but yeah, this ain't it, Chief.
No, I just felt very... Which, as a lot of reality TV does, it felt very exploitative. It's hard to say because it was the first episode. Obviously, later on, as the show went and became more popular, if you're going on Catfish, you know what to expect.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether this was the first episode filmed, but it was... I imagine a lot of these episodes were filmed back, like, alongside each other.
Mm-hmm.
But this was the first season. And Sunny, who is the hopeful in this situation, is saying things about how she genuinely thinks this guy is real. And yeah, you got her friends who Neve speaks to who says, I just don't see it. And
even they believe she's being naive.
Yeah. But even then, it's just so, frankly, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're setting her up, essentially, because they try and say to her, why do you think he's real? We found some inconsistencies. Don't you maybe think that you should prepare yourself for this not to be real? And maybe that's the reality TV twisting of it, where they're saying to her, like, behind the scenes, pretend that it's...
Yeah,
pretend you don't know.
Encouraging certain behavior within it.
Yeah.
They most definitely did. Because they... Most likely, given how most other reality TV works, they ask her what they were going to say. They run through it, just be like, oh, we're going to ask you this question. What are you going to say? And then they run through it like that, more or less. And then they think like, oh, could you play up these certain aspects? We don't know for sure, but that just sort of tends to be how it is. Yeah,
that's just the way reality TV sort of goes. So it's weird to criticize it for being reality TV, essentially. It's fitting the tropes of the genre, but it felt very exploitative of Sunny's naivety, and also the way it frames Jameson is a lot less empathetic in my eyes than how it framed Angela.
Yeah.
Essentially with, in this case, the catfish, was pretending to be a man to win the favor of a woman. And when we first meet Jameson and the reveal happens, she comes across as very unforgiving, unapologetic. And again, who's to say, because of the narrative of the episode where they wanted conflict and then a happy resolution, they didn't say to her, right, you're going to be angry and you're going to pretend like you weren't even bothered and you don't care that you've upset this girl that you've been speaking to.
Yeah.
And Jameson says, I don't care. It was never romantic. I never had any feelings for you. And I think maybe it's in a more negative sense for me, especially because at the end, then it has the discussion of, is Jameson a lesbian? Is she bisexual? And that falls into, in the very first episode of the show, a very dangerous trap of not queer baiting. What's the term?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of the technical term, but essentially the idea of a queer person pretending to be a gender that they're not to win the affection of a cis person or a straight person.
Really homophobic cliches for a narrative.
Yeah, so for example, there's a word I'm skirting around that I do not want to say, but
you can say it to me.
Yeah, like it's a trap scenario.
Yeah.
No,
just say that. That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, I fucking hate that word in this context. The idea that a queer person is lying to a cis-het person to trap them in some sort of relationship.
Yeah,
and I don't think that that's their intention with this framing. But whether it's their intention or not, yeah. And the fact that Sunny, I'm not judging her as a person, I'm not judging Jameson as a person. We can only judge them as the show portrays them.
And the context it was filmed in.
The context it was filmed in is very aggressive and says to her about, are you a lesbian? It doesn't come across as empathetic of asking, is this why you were doing it? You're secretly gay and you're kind of ashamed about it. It comes across as, oh, well, you must be gay then.
Yeah.
And very aggressive. And I do know there is a later episode of the show where the reveal of the catfish is essentially a person who was transitioning and just didn't feel comfortable saying it, and they then continued the relationship. And I know Neve said in an interview that was one of the proudest moments of the show, is genuinely helping them in that regard. So I don't think it's a purposeful exploitation of that trope, but even if it's...
But when you're digging up these sort of events and using them for TV, you've got to think
of how it's going to be framed.
Yeah, you've got to tread so carefully. I will not do it at all. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But no, I 100% agree. It comes across so nasty. It's horrible, really.
Yeah, and they obviously have the resolution at the end then, where they say, oh, they're still Facebook friends.
That felt so forced.
They didn't seem like they got on at all.
No, like all the framing when they were all together, they were not physically close to each other. It was that was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, when Neve said, I'm going to leave you two to have a conversation yourselves, I kind of didn't expect them to go in with the camera.
Yeah.
I actually thought maybe they were going to give them a moment to discuss in private. But no, and I know it's a reality show. We've kind of got to see what's going on. But in this regard, I feel like it would make sense to maybe just have it where it's 20 seconds of black screen of, we gave Sunny and Jameson an hour to talk by themselves. Yeah. And then you're talking to them after the fact and they can say, oh, we spoke about this and we've reached this kind of reconciliation.
If you still want to do that and still want to be kind of evil, keep the laughs on.
Yeah, just lie. Because when you've got a camera in front of you, you're going to say a certain way.
Yeah. You don't want authenticity, you want a specific narrative.
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely think that, I'm not saying, obviously, catfishing people is wrong, but then also Sunny she's upset, understandably.
Well, a constant framing thing is that most of the people who do it are quite mentally ill.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I was going to say. Sunny says to Jameson, oh, you have a personality disorder. And they even frame it of the reason Jameson started catfishing people was a revenge plot because another girl had basically sent her inappropriate messages and she was being bullied.
It flattens the psychology of all of this to just nothing. It makes it all the motivations that could go into it. It's just like, we can't really delve that deep within it. Like I'll give credit to the film. They had the time where Abigail.
Yeah,
she's
Angela. Yeah,
Angela.
Abby was the daughter. But
right. Angela. They were able to there was a bunch of different motives going within it. But this one, you got to flat it down to it's one thing. I'm bullied.
Yeah, exactly. I'm bullied, and I'm doing it because I'm not one of the pretty girls, quote unquote.
Yeah. So it takes all the complexity out of it.
Yeah.
And it makes it dull.
Yeah, because to be honest, I think this is a very interesting topic.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't ever catfished anyone, but also I can kind of, on an empathetic level, understand how someone would get in the situation where they would, especially in the realm. I can see it as
a sort of snowballing effect, really. Yeah. You just start as something innocuous, and then you just keep going until, before you know, it just it spins out of your own control.
Yeah, it reminds me, weird example, it reminds me of the musical. It's an audio-only musical. It's a podcast on Spotify. Called 36 Questions. I might have mentioned it to you before a while ago. And the whole idea of that is it's a couple rekindling their relationship after the husband found out that his wife had been lying to them since the start of their relationship about who she was.
Mm.
And as you find out more, you realize the start of the relationship, she basically just told him a fake name when they met in a park. And then he asked her on a date, and she was expecting it to go nowhere.
Mm.
And then she realized there was no coming back from it.
Mm.
And it was just, again, digging and digging until it was way too late. But also on a deeper level, she kind of liked who she was in the lie. And I can understand how a catfish might feel that way, especially in online spaces where maybe you don't have to use a picture of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Especially maybe seeing it from the perspective of a queer person. How someone who doesn't feel comfortable in their own skin or safe in their own environment might explore dating and forming connections with people if that's not something they can do in real life. And it doesn't justify it, don't get me wrong, but
instead it feels like it's prying on this fear I feel a lot of people have of being lied to, of being manipulated, and trying to pull up a rock and see and trying to reveal and to point and laugh. It's a humiliation, Rachel, like I was saying at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's right.
No, I agree. I'm definitely never gonna watch any more of these. I'm
glad I watched the film just because it was a relic of its time, and there is certain aspects I find quite admirable.
Yeah, I completely agree. And again, I find the topic really interesting. I can think of shows that had catfish storylines at the time, weirdly enough. Glee had quite an infamous one because it was the trans character who was the catfish.
Yeah.
And it was very much a case of that is not aged fucking well at all. It wasn't even aged well at the time they did it. But yeah, it's a topic I find interesting, but it's not this medium that I want to explore it in.
No.
Absolutely not. I'm not going to watch any more of this.
No.
And even in terms of seeking out the funny online clips, they definitely just got people on to be sensationalized. Obviously, with the Katy Perry one that I feel like is the most iconic clip.
Yeah.
That must be fabricated entirely. It has to be. As the show goes on, surely it becomes more and more of just...
Honestly, I'm surprised it went on as long as it was. Could you imagine having to do this for 10 years?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And eventually Max left, and I think the fact that Neve was going to leave was probably why it was cancelled.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
I don't have any final thoughts, but 2 people on Reddit do.
There's a catfish Reddit? I genuinely thought there was going to be one where there wasn't.
There is a catfish subreddit. It's not the most active. I did get 2 comments.
Okay.
So, quite detailed comments, though. Someone said, I sought out the documentary after seeing a few of the later episodes with Cammy and Neve, and was expecting a similar tone, but I was really surprised how heartfelt and well done the doc was. It had heart, and I thought it was handled really delicately on how they engaged with the catfish in the end after the reveal. The first few episodes of the show tried to keep that tone, but it quickly devolves into snarky reality TV experience that we love to hate.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. And then the other comment says, I think it changed a lot over time. It went from Neve and Max trying to help people to really Neve wanting to be more of a celebrity-like figure. I noticed after season 5 they start to feel a lot more influenced. By the time Cammy came on, I feel like the show went from trying to help to just being full-on reality TV. It ran its course, and I think that's fine now. Rumor was that Max was going to come back, and I feel as though if that was true, and maybe the show went back to more of an older style, it might have continued. But it is interesting to see how much it had changed. So it sounds like, it just gets...
It was kind of inevitable that it was going to go down this route.
Yeah, it was just going to always make a...
It's going to turn into a lol cow farm.
God, yeah, it is just that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way of concising it.
No wonder it's ended, though, because we got enough of that everywhere else.
Yeah, God. I watched an interesting video about lol cows recently.
Yeah.
And I just thought, God, what a depressing topic.
Yeah.
But any final thoughts?
No.
No. We're not going to be here next week.
Aren't we?
No.
How long till...
Yeah, so we have been doing this for almost a full calendar year.
Yeah.
And I have taken a single week off in that time.
I've taken some off, because I've been...
Yeah, you had jaw surgery
I had
at one
jaw
point.
surgery.
And so we're going to be taking a 3-week break. We're going to be back on August 1st, which is a Saturday. But the reason we're back on August 1st specifically is because that's our 1-year anniversary. Ooh. So we're going to have a special episode with video as well. Well, I know people don't necessarily like video podcasts. Don't worry. It's not going to become a constant thing. We're not doing that. It's just a one-off for
thing.
The birthday. And we're just going to talk about just all the shows we've covered.
We're just going to chat shit.
Just going to chat shit for an hour. So if that's the part of the podcast you like and you just enjoy listening to us talk shit, we're going to be talking shit about all the stuff we've watched over the last year in a very informal context. We're going to have some guests on.
Yeah.
Yeah. In brief things, all the guests that we've had in the past year, or 3 of them.
Yeah. Was it only 3?
Yeah. Garen just came on a bunch. Yeah. It was just Garen, Viv.
I'm a constant guest.
Yeah. In my head, I'm the host.
No. To be fair, you do the research.
That's true, but no, I don't see it that way. Yeah, but Garen, Kate, and Meg will make appearances. Maybe not in person, but definitely over the phone at least.
They're going to catfish us.
Chris Hansen will be there. But yeah, usually when we ask for thoughts, there's always a kind of a little bit of a delay, but you've got 3 weeks until then. So if you've got anything you want to send in for us to read, or if you want to just say hi, if you've been listening for a while, if you've literally only ever listened to one episode, you can send that to us on our social medias. Yeah. It's Instagram and TikTok at firsttimeflyerspodcast. You can also email us at firsttimeflyerspodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what's the favourite show that we've covered that you liked, or what shows do you want us to cover, or just say hi, or I don't know, send us sponsorships, spam mail.
We'll read it.
Send us hate mail.
We'll read it.
We will
send
read
us
it.
Really racist rants. Read the
we'll
whole
read
thing.
All the words,
and then we'll put them in the apology. We'll slide across the...
But yeah, so that'll be in 3 weeks' time. So we're taking a 3-week break. That'll come out on August 1st. And in that episode, we'll announce what our next season's going to be, because we haven't decided yet. We can decide that right now, but off mic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can check us out there. In the meantime, though, while you're waiting for that to come out, we do have another podcast that you can find at Pod One Out Studios on YouTube. It's called All Hail the King, with our friend Garen, where we talk about Stephen King things. At the minute, we're doing a big set of episodes on The Stand, one of Stephen King's very famous early books. So if you're interested in The Stand, you can check that out.
Standing?
Yeah, Standing. Or by the time the next episode comes out, so a couple of weeks from you listening to this, but we've also got one coming about Stand By Me, which is another big Stephen King one.
So if you like Standing.
Yeah, I like Standing. That's exactly why we put them together. So you can check those out as well if you're missing us while we're away.
Yeah.
But I, for one, will be on that grind set. I will not rest, don't you worry.
It never stops.
It never stops. It never stops. I'm going to make a 3rd podcast.
Groovy. Okay,
Groovy.
bye.
Yeah, bye.
Cabin crew, prepare for landing. Thank you for flying with us today. We hope you have a pleasant rest of your journey, and you join us next week when we depart for our 1-year anniversary. Woo.